Hi, I'm Aditi Agrawal and I'm the founder and CEO of School of Future. Today we're going to talk a bit about our vision and then also do a proper demo of our entire experience. So the key problem that School of Future is trying to solve is the gap that exists between the needs of the economy and the education that the traditional school system provides. And this gap has always existed, but now it's just growing at an exponential rate because of the enhancements in technology, AI, pandemics. All of these things together are making this gap even bigger and bigger. And students are noticing because they are digital natives who were born with a phone in their hands, and the way that they think about the world is much more in line with what employers actually need and the skills that employers actually need. But they just feel super frustrated, stuck in these schools which do not allow them to dream or do anything of value that they are excited about. So that's why School of Future exists. And when we think of solving this problem or fixing this gap between the demands of the real world and the skills that young people learn, we came up with this concept of Entrepreneurs Academy. So Entrepreneurs Academy is a 100-day program for students who are teenagers or 13 to 19 years of age. The whole program is completely online, and it is really a unique kind of crazy magical potion mixture of learning by yourself, learning with global peers, and one-on-one mentorship. Our students learn in a small cohort of up to 20 people, and they are often, in any small group even, they'll have students from at least 5 to 7 different countries. And this experience for them is truly life-changing because it helps them learn how to action their ideas from the very beginning, from like early on in their life. The second reason it's so amazing is because being a founder is an exercise in learning everything. It's an exercise in learning how to work with other people. It's an exercise in understanding how to solve real world problems that people care about, that building products and services that people actually need. So our kids do the same. They go through that entire cycle of picking a problem that they care about in the world, coming up with a solution that they actually genuinely have tested on people. They've talked to several people living with this problem. They've developed empathy for the problem and for the solution that they're building, and then putting together using financial literacy to kind of put together the business, understanding the business model that is there, all of these things. And then finally ending with this really powerful pitch that they do at the end of their 100 days. So this is the program, Entrepreneurs Academy, that I'm going to give you a bit of taste of and just explain a bit more how it actually works, how these three elements of learning by yourself, learning with global peers, and one-on-one mentorship, how that actually comes to be. So this is our first component, our online app, which is where students are expected to spend 2 out of their 4 hours every week. The second component, which I'll get to soon, is every Saturday or every week, students spend 1 hour working with their entire cohort. And then thirdly, we'll explore the mentorship element, which is every 2 weeks, a student gets half an hour of really effective coaching. But for now, let's come back to the online app. So in this video, I want to explore specifically the skill of managing assumptions, because in our pedagogy, we really believe that when you're thinking of any new concept, it's really important to understand how that concept involves you, how it involves your community, and how it involves the rest of the world. So when you look at this skill space over here, you have for each of these weeks, you have about 2 hours of content. So this is called a skill, and each of these are called mini skills, and they come from different areas of design thinking or emotional intelligence or just problem solving specifically about the concept that we are trying to teach students. So here we're going to explore both a little bit of assumptions that young people will make about themselves, and then also look at how that applies to their businesses by exploring some of the unknowns in terms of their business. Let's start with assumptions about you. One thing I forgot to mention is that with these skills, students can take as much or as little time as they want. It's completely up to them. We assign them about 2 hours of work, but obviously a lot of students end up spending a lot more time because often the app tells you to go out and figure out things in the world, or they'll take a lot of time just writing down things that they're thinking. So here we start with just like a simple question, and you can write your response. As you can see, once the student submits the response that they have written, they actually get grit coins, which can later be used to actually invest in each other's companies. And that again helps them learn a bit more about financial literacy, and it's just fun. Once they understand the definition of assumptions, we then go into the second page, which is just about understanding a bit more of what are the things that people may assume about them. And once you have done that, once you've thought about what are the assumptions that people are making about you, we also ask them to think about how might that affect their behavior, for good or for bad. So as you can see here, Eden's speaking about the fact that other people assume that she is really professional, and in school and in public all the time they think that she's really professional, which she obviously likes in many ways, but it also, because it shows her drive and ambition, but she's worried about the fact that sometimes maybe she comes across as being too intimidating. And that's it. When you click on next, you would get your grit coins, and you've just finished an entire mini skill of learning about basic assumptions about yourself. So at this point, I actually would like to take you to the next mini skill, which is about exploring unknowns for your business. So here we start with just understanding what are some of the certainties, assumptions, and doubts that students may have about whatever they are building. They then put it into this chart, which is empty for me, but would be filled for the kids. And they think about helping each other. They can reply to each other with different prompts as they go for questions, and just try and understand more about like what are the assumptions that people have about their problem. So to take an example of Julia's solving the problem of homelessness, and she is just noticing that she wants to ask questions like, what is a homeless person's priority, and how do you fund outreach for them? Let's look at maybe another student. So for example, Gloria is interested in climate change, and she's asking a bunch of questions about how can we keep animals safe, how can we help recycle better, and so on. And so you get a sense of how whatever you're learning in the small, like, in the mini skill is actually linked to the next mini skill, and how it actually helps you get things out of your brain and onto this platform, and that you can respond to each other and get grit coins for all of that. There's also this cool element called your repeatables. So what we realized was that building something of your own is such an exercise in learning, like so many of these skills, so many of the 21st century skills. And often one of the basic things you realize as a founder is that it's a very reiterative process. So you're never done like understanding every aspect of your problem. You're never done solving every single idea. You're never done generating all the insights. So we wanted students to be able to go back to these things at any point as they wanted, as they found it to be useful. So that's why we have built a lot of these repeatables in as well. And for now, let's go to the contest and see and understand a bit of what happens every Saturdays. Our December cohort actually had a amazing conversation around assumptions as well, which I want to share with you. Let me just go to when Mekdes asked this question, and then you'll hear from Jackie.
Who else wants to share like something that they said or something somebody else said?
The awkward silence.
I could like really relate to what Samara said, and she was basically saying like how a lot of people assume that she's not a nice person, or that she's like really moody, because they sort of catch her at like the wrong moment. And I can feel like that, like that's me.
So what this does is these kind of contests or these kind of gamification collaborative elements really help create stickiness for the students. So this group is of 18 students or so, and they're all actually here learning from each other, talking to each other, and growing from that experience. The third element of Entrepreneurs Academy is the element of mentorship. So I want to show you a small snippet of Carson who's our mentor, facilitator, talking to Constance, who is from Germany, and she's looking at solving the problem of people not feeling motivated to do things. So he's going to provide her with some mentorship and coaching around how can she actually go out into the world and ask people these questions and what are the things that she should be considering. So let's see a little bit.
Question that I have, and this is another tool, how might we questions. Like when someone is not motivated to do anything, how might we motivate them to get to your app?
So I thought about this before. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. I mean, a lot of apps use notifications, and I thought about like doing little challenging notifications to open the app. Like maybe include the point system in it. You open the app and like a schedule. Like,
So that gives you a bit of an idea around how our mentors actually guide students so that they can create a amazing project, so that they can understand a bit more about themselves as they're going through this 100-day journey with us. Going back to our online app, another element that I wanted to share is actually called Off My Chest, and it is probably one of the most powerful things that we've been able to build into our platform. This is just a space, it's an anonymous confessional for teenagers to be able to talk about anything that they want. So as you can see, a lot of students speak about the fact that they're going through mental well-being issues, or that they have a crush, or that they often feel left out, and they offer advice to each other, like genuine, real advice. A lot of us don't fit in. Maybe I'm one, but the point is why we don't fit in. And like, just this kind of expression is completely blocked for students in traditional schooling. There's no way that they can talk about these kind of things, and they can't think and dream the way that they can with our programming and with our help. The very last thing I wanted to share is just a recent experiment that we have been trying, which is around using Discord to help bring in more interaction across different cohorts. Within our one cohort, students actually interact and get to know each other really well. But as our community has grown to 400 students, we actually wanted to give more opportunities to interact across different cohorts. As you can see, there are different problem areas, different let me move myself to the side. There are different problem areas that students are talking about with education. We've had some really good conversations across cohorts between, are exams even necessary? With job opportunities, students are trying to get jobs by talking to each other and so on. I think that pretty much covers all the three elements of Entrepreneurs Academy and School of Future. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it made sense to you. Thank you so much. Bye.